Okay, so this is legitimately my favorite topic of all time, so I'm very excited to finally, after a long time, get to the Hippocrates Health Institute and their protocol. It was the first post-nursing introduction I had into holistic health, and it was absolutely life-changing. It brought the physical world and God and science and the medical field all together for me and connected every single dot and every single question. It answered them in an awesome way. This place has my heart, and I can't say enough good things about it. If you are interested at all, it is a year-long program. They have 14 or 17, 20 modules now that you can walk through, and it covers everything, including emotional intelligence, spiritual health, food. It is lifestyle medicine, which is a legitimate branch in the medical field.
I just heard that this weekend.
Right.
That's a big term.
Right? Yes. Yeah. Okay. So, welcome to Hippocrates. Random way to start this, but who can explain to me how an AED works? Anybody know?
It's electrical. Like it's the
Ding, 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 ding. Right.
for the heart, right?
It's electrical, right? Which is basically the answer that I wanted because, you know, I don't
Energy.
think, what?
Energy.
It's energy. So, if somebody dies, their heart stops. The electricity within their heart is not firing, so nothing is pumping, nothing is working. What an AED does is it introduces electricity back to the heart to try and jumpstart the heart's own electrical circuits to start working again. So basically, if it comes down to it, life is electric. Period.
Frequency.
It is. And I'm not talking like woo-woo stuff, but it is. Based on an AED alone. These are a little dense, but it'll be great. So, in this, I'm going to change the terms from electricity to life force, because that's how it's referred to in the program. So, do you know what gives you life? It's electricity. An MRI, an EKG, an AED, a CAT scan, all work on these frequencies. That is what they are doing. They are using electricity to diagnose or to use diagnostically to assess your biology. That is what they do. And in the medical field, they use electricity to diagnose biology, and then instead of using electricity and frequency to work with your biology, they decide to use chemistry, which is, you know, completely different because it's not even chemistry that works with our bodies. It's different. We don't need to go down that road. So different cultures use different terms for this: life force, chi, prana, electromagnetic radiation, radiant energy, auras, things like this, right? We've all heard of these. Obviously, this has been something that cultures around the world have been in touch with since the dawn of time. Acupuncture, acupressure, massage techniques all work. Some massage techniques all work based on these systems that are in your body. Your meridians, have you guys all heard those words? Is like, if you go to the doctor's office and you see those beautiful anatomy slides on the wall, and it's like your nervous system, and it has all of these nerves everywhere, and you can see it, skeletal system, whatever. Your meridians are pretty much the same thing as your nervous system. It's just, it works, you know, it's just not your nervous system. It's a whole different system that they don't have a picture on the wall of. But my point is that that's how intense the system is. So when you go to an acupuncturist or even a chiropractor, that's what they're tapping into when they use those needles. They're opening up these like centers that have step points, potential step points within the flow that has to go through your body. I'll give you an example. Emotions are energy in motion. okay? You have an experience in the world. You have a thought that goes around, that goes with that. You release neurochemicals, they go into your body. This is all immediate, by the way. They trigger your body to have a physical response, right? Emotions you feel physically. That is energy in motion. Electricity coursing through your body, and you're having a response to it. Now, you're a child, and you have something happen to you, and you have this emotional, energetic response. But your parents didn't want to deal with it at the time, or you didn't feel safe enough to express your emotions, so you put a cap on it, and you shut that emotion down, and you lock it up, and you put it in a box, and you don't let yourself feel it. That energy, because energy is neither created nor destroyed, it just transforms, it just transmutes form, right? That energy gets stored in your body, hopefully so that you can release it at some other time. Your body is dynamically intelligent. It holds on to stuff for a lifetime if you don't release it, right? If you don't release it, it will try and release itself, because it's like having a toxic box of sludge that's like rotting inside of you over time, because that's what happens. It will try and release itself, and it will manifest in forms of cancer, in forms of tumor growth, hair loss, anything, so that this energy can come out. Okay?
Disease.
Huh? Autoimmune diseases, right.
That's
Your
one of the
body is
biggest
literally
triggers.
attacking itself.
Mhm.
Right.
It's one of the biggest triggers.
So, and this energy would get stuck within these meridians. So when you go to an acupuncturist, they're tapping into this energy center. If you have a problem with your liver, they know exactly what energy centers that's going to affect. So they're putting a needle into that center to hopefully stimulate the process so that you can start to flow again, just like your circulatory system. This is just like your circulatory system. Energy constantly needs to flow. It needs to flow.
Can they tell like where it's stuck?
Yeah.
Yes,
Usually, yeah.
absolutely. A good practitioner
Feeling
can.
the energy.
A good practitioner can. Or just, based on your symptoms, they know, okay, well, that would be a liver issue, so we're going to...
Yeah, like anger is supposed to be stored in the liver.
Exactly, right, exactly. So, that's just to illustrate that point. Getting back to food now. Cooking is going to destroy the life force that's in food. Okay? Hey! Okay, I wasn't. Cooking is going to destroy the life force that's in food, right? I mean, this is pretty self-evident. If I go and roast this stuff, it's going to look much different. If you sit here and put your hand over it and rub this food, it's alive. If you cook it, it's no longer alive. Life force is removed. Conventional science completely negates this fact. Like, it's just not looked at, it's not paid attention to whatsoever. Which is pretty funny because, they do use diagnostic tools that are based in frequency, but it's like it doesn't exist for them. It's just interesting. The foods with the highest electro frequencies have the highest nutrition. Meaning, living food has the highest nutrition on the planet Earth. If you are what you eat, and you eat vibrant food brimming with life force, you will be vibrant and brimming with life force. Because you become what your body can do with the food that you eat. So if you're taking in life force, then that does nothing but add to you. Talking about the enzymes in food, it's a similar thing, because enzymes to me are the electricity that's in food. It's not to me, that's what they are. So when you eat food that has its enzymes present, it doesn't take anything from you. It's giving to you. It doesn't take energy in order to digest that stuff. It comes with its own prepackaged digestion system all ready to go. So you don't need to make digestive enzymes. It comes with them. Raw food. Now, raw food isn't necessarily living food, because living food has to be growing at the time that you eat it. This is why sprouts are really crucial, in my opinion, to having a highly nutritionally dense diet. Let's get into that. You are bioelectric. You are biology and you are electricity. It is what you are. If you put your hand under a microscope and you zoom it in as far as you possibly can, you are going to see an atom which by its core is nothing but electrofrequencies. So that's mind-blowing to think about. Under all of this, really that's all it comes down to. Like, how does that even manifest into all of these beautiful humans in front of me? Like, that's just divine. Like, it's just mind-blowing. I love it. Bioelectric is electrical currents and electrical potentials that are generated by and occurring within all living cells and tissues and organisms. Everything that you see and feel, and everything is electricity. Everything. I mean, solid, liquid, gas. That covers planet Earth, right there. Live food, it's all about the energy. By eating live fruits, vegetables, nuts, seeds, and sprouts, the health seeker first conserves energy, which makes sense because your body's not losing anything to break the food down, which is then freed up to be used by your body, your soul, and your spirit to create health and happiness. Period. Period. The body is not required to expend extra energy on manufacturing digestive enzymes because you're eating cooked food. It doesn't require it. So, as live and active enzymes naturally occur in abundance in raw food, right? We learned that last time. The body is not required to continually cleanse fluids and tissues. All right, so the body's not required to have to detox. When you eat something in the standard American diet that's contaminated with pesticides, herbicides, fungicides, all of that stuff, your body obviously has to work really hard in order to digest the food, but then it has to manufacture and figure out what to do with all of these exogenous toxins, meaning all of these outside derived toxins that are now coming into your body. Your body already makes toxins, right? Naturally, it's what it's supposed to do. But now it's got to deal with all these extra ones, and it doesn't have to do that in this. The body is no longer creating nor being required to eliminate toxic byproducts created within the body. That would happen when you eat cooked food. The body moves fiber-rich, peristalsis-stimulating live foods through the digestive system with high energy efficiency when compared to the large amount of energy required to move cooked food, which are fiber degraded and no longer peristalsis stimulating. That is like such a big mouthful. I just wanted to put everything in there. So obviously raw food is very fibrous, right? But fiber is what stimulates your GI tract to move on its own to push all the food through so that you can eventually excrete it. Cooked food doesn't stimulate the GI tract the same way, right? Because, like we talked about the guy who ate all that meat and it just sat in his digestive system. Who was it? John Wayne. It doesn't.
And Elvis.
I knew exactly who she was talking about, too.
So, right, but you eat sprouts, and with all the energy within them, I mean, you're gonna move, and it's good, because you're gonna be cleaned out in the process. So, I mean, there's definitely a little bit of a transition. Peristalsis is the natural movement that your body, within smooth muscle, your esophagus does it, which is the tube that goes from your mouth to your stomach, and then your intestines, your stomach, really your digestive tract. It's like it's like a snake, and it just pushes things together. It just pushes everything through. That's what peristalsis means. Live foods are nutrient rich and provide the body with superior digestible and oh yeah, I didn't know if that was a word or not. It assimilates. It's so easy to assimilate this stuff because these seeds, when you sprout them, become what's known as pre-digested. Meaning, if you take a seed and eat it, it might cause some uncomfortable situations. Who's had lentils that weren't necessarily cooked properly and it automatically causes digestive upset? You get gassy, you get bloated, or you don't have to raise your hand, but I know that that's like obviously generally what happens, right? So what pre-digested means is when you soak these beans, seeds, nuts, grains, anything that you're supposed to soak in order for you to be able to assimilate what's in them. What's basically happening is like the outer shell and all of the protective mechanisms around the seed, which seeds all have so that insects don't eat them, they kind of just melt away and they transform into something else that's beneficial for the seed. Meaning, it's like water digests that toxin, for better words. It's not necessarily, but it's the enzyme inhibitors that go away. So that's why I'm saying they're pre-digested. You can eat them and you won't have problems later.
So should we be soaking raw nuts before we eat them?
Yes, you should, absolutely. Anything above like a mustard seed, the size-wise.
Okay, so when they get really soft, it wouldn't be beneficial to like put them in the oven because then you're
No,
cooking them.
but you can put them in the dehydrator
Alright.
to get them hard again. But like, so this weekend I soaked almonds and put like a really cool crunchy garlic sesame shaker thing that I found on them. And I put them in the dehydrator, but I was like, this is gonna take too long. I didn't care. They were just, I put them in a Tupperware and they were fine. They were good. But I mean, you do you, but dehydrator. Yeah, don't put them in the oven.
But 130 degrees or less.
118
Oh, 18.
is the magic number. You will find that fluctuates based on who you're talking to, but the standard is 118. We'll talk about dehydrating next
It's an
time.
expensive class, actually.
I know, right?
I still have to get, and we haven't talked about water yet, because I gotta buy a Berkey or something too, right?
Yeah, we haven't talked about water yet. No water. It's a lifestyle class, for sure.
I have a question.
Yeah.
So when we were looking at almonds, I don't remember, I think it was the almond milk we were looking for, or it was just almonds, I don't remember, something to do with almonds, when it said it was blanched. So does that mean it was soaked, or does that mean it was cleaned somehow?
That means it's cooked.
Boiled, like boiled.
Okay.
Right. So in the United States, it is illegal to sell raw almonds. You have to get them online. They have to come from Italy. So the almonds, milks, and stuff like that that you buy, you're not gonna find any sort of raw anything unless you're getting it from somebody who just makes it in their kitchen. It is very easy to get raw almonds. I use the brand Terra Sol. They are very, very reasonable. My whole entire kitchen is full of every product that they have. It is a brilliant company.
What's the name of it?
Terra Sol, TerraSoul. They're extremely reasonable. You can get, I think, a 2-pound bag of almonds, which is like, you know, a big bag of almonds for like 25 bucks. You go to Stop and Shop and you buy a little bag of almonds, you're gonna buy that for $10, $12, and they're all roasted. Even if they don't say roasted, it is not allowed, you're not allowed to sell raw almonds
did not
in the
know
United
that.
States. You will not find them. Even if it's, like, you won't find them.
See, now that's so deceiving, where it says raw, and it's not.
So I thought this was a brilliant picture that kind of
Oh,
illustrates what I'm
that's
talking
neat.
about. This isn't even cooked and uncooked food. This is the difference in energetic force between conventional and organic. So you can see massively, obviously, the difference. This is a mushroom. Oh yeah, it says it. Tomato. I mean, I think, oh, this one's,
Raw cooked.
oh, that's switched.
That's interesting.
Yeah, no, it's a brilliant, brilliant, brilliant slide.
Wow.
This is a raw and cooked cabbage. All right, so one of the things, obviously, that's like, so we are gonna be getting into the plant-based diet after this. I think after the juice cleanse, if you guys do start assimilating sprouting into your diet, there is definitely a bloating gas phase because your microbiome has to switch over and has to acclimate. So yes, but this is why things like digestive enzymes that you can take in order to help that, definitely a good probiotic. Anything that you can do to help support that and minimize that.
What
will
about
be
fermented
really
vegetables?
great.
Would that
Fermented,
help? That
anything
would help.
fermented, anything fermented, go for it. They even have fermented seaweed at Whole Foods. It's delicious. Okay, so let's talk about the Bible. Genesis 29, 120, chapter 1, like first page, verse 29 through 30. Then God said, "Look, I have given you every seed-bearing plant throughout the earth and all the fruit trees for your food. And I have given every green plant for the food for all the wild animals, the birds of the sky, and the small animals that scurry around the ground. Everything that has life." And then I added this, the food for thought. Food for thought. The fall of humanity was because our flesh was sold a lie, and we gave it to temptation, and it was all over a food choice.
If it was an apple.
It's a food choice. Temptation over a food choice.
wasn't an apple.
It is the one thing that we have to do on a daily basis, multiple times a day. In my opinion, if Satan was trying to come at somebody to take them down, what's the easiest way to go about it? What's the fastest way to go about it? And I've said from the beginning of our program, the fastest way to shift your consciousness physically, the fastest way to do it is through food. Yes, breathing, prayer, in the moment, absolutely, you can connect. But I'm talking about your physical state of being is through food. It's miraculous.
Amen.
One of the things that Pastor Frank said this weekend when he was preaching was something about God's original divine design, and this was it. This was it. Everything that has life. That was it. So, bringing you back to the Hippocrates Center. Just a little bit of a history. This guy, Sylvester Graham, back in 1830, he knew about the raw food lifestyle, and he went preaching about it during the cholera outbreak. He hit New England, Pennsylvania, and New York, and was preaching about pure water, fruit and vegetables, nuts and seeds, and the people that were in his homes that he had built up and the people that he preached to were unaffected by the cholera outbreak. So next time COVID wants to seize up again, jump on this. I mean, all you should be jumping on it anyways, but you will have no problems on this.
Well, let's think about what was open. McDonald's.
Right, yeah,
I mean, the
exactly.
lines,
Right, exactly.
but the lines were so long. It was like,
Right.
every time I drove by, it made me sick to see how many people, they were afraid to go to the grocery store and buy real food, but they were online at McDonald's.
And I will tell you that every time I went to the grocery store, everybody's complaining of a food shortage. There was not one day that I went in there that the produce was not completely
Nope.
stocked. Not
Nope.
one
Especially
day.
the organic stuff was
No.
stocked.
Oh
It
yeah,
was all-
people were like, yeah,
Yep.
no, right.
I was like,
This is
score!
No problem buying Ezekiel bread, no problem doing any of that stuff because.
But toilet paper and bleach.
So those within his boarding houses and those who followed his teachings were unaffected by the disease and remained healthy. So I'm going to fly through this. Anne Wigmore is the founding person of the Hippocrates Health Institute. She was born in Eastern Europe. She was a very sickly child. Her parents kind of semi-abandoned her and moved to the United States so that they could begin their career. They left her in their town, and she was kind of semi-adopted by a medicine woman there who introduced her to holistic healing. She was like 8, so it was her first touch with it. She did eventually come to the United States. They were in Boston. She met up with her family again, was reunited, and about 3 weeks after she got here, she was in a really traumatic horse and buggy accident and mangled her legs. They took her up to the Harvard doctors. They said, we have to amputate, come back in a couple weeks, and we'll do that because she didn't really have much money. So her parents were bakers. They started their job at 2 o'clock in the morning. They put her on a park bench outside the bakery at 2 o'clock in the morning where she sat and was supposed to just wait for the surgery. And God started to speak to her. and told her, reach underneath the park bench and start picking the grass. So she started picking the grass and chewing the grass, and then she started putting the chewed grass inside her wounds. 3 weeks later, she goes back to the doctors, and they were like, oh, that's interesting. We don't have to amputate your legs anymore. I mean, you're massively infected, but, we don't have to amputate your legs anymore.
Wow.
Fast forward, and it was because of the nutrients and the enzymes that were in her saliva that triggered, because enzymes are electricity, and that's life force, right? So it busted open everything that was in the grass that she was chewing, and we will talk about wheatgrass next time. And that stuff is like pure gold. So at age 4 to 6, she was diagnosed with colon cancer, stage 4. She had another reawakening and was like, okay, that's it. I am going and sticking with this holistic health. And within a couple years, she opened the first Hippocrates Health Institute in Boston. She really could only treat the poor at the time because, she's this Eastern European immigrant who had a really thick accent and had no education, formal education, and people are like, what are you talking about? But she was curing people way back then with, I don't even know what she was using at that point because sprouts weren't introduced for a while, but it was just all super holistic medicine. They did move down to West Palm Beach because the growing season is better. So it's obviously it's a modality based around things that you need to be able to grow. So now they're down there. So this is lifestyle medicine per the Hippocrates Center. Sprouts, sea vegetables, algae are your top. Green juices, wheatgrass, food combining, supplements, exercise, pure water, sleep, positive thinking. I'm not I'm not talking about toxic positive thinking, but I'm talking about what Pastor Frank taught us about a couple months ago with you need to be in control of your thoughts. Fresh air, spirituality, and emotional regulation and integration. Meaning we're going to take those stuck childhood trauma points that you've had and we're going to open them up, we're going to shine light on them, and we're going to get rid of them so that light can come back in and you can be more of a present human, not with anchors to the past from traumas. There are 3 biggest food components. Sprouts. They are the most nutritiously dense food on land. Sea vegetables, meaning seaweed, is the most nutritiously dense vegetable in the sea. And algae are the most nutritiously dense food in fresh water. Green and blue-green algae.
They say you can live off of this, right?
And pure water. You can live off of just algae and pure water. I mean, it has to be that stuff, but, I wouldn't, I
Wouldn't go to the
add
sea.
more stuff in, but. So sprouts are 10, and this is not even, 10 to 50, up to 70, depending on what sprout you're talking about, more nutritiously dense than the best vegetables in the grocery store. They are literally in their own category in terms of the food pyramid. They're not even on it, forget it. Sprouts are in their own category. Sprouts are living food. They are still growing at the time that they are consumed. Their bioelectricity or life force is 100% intact. Sprouts are alive, and so are you. And life begets life, right? The more living food you put into your body, the more alive your body becomes. Energy is freed up that it would normally take, because digestion is 60 to 70% of your energy, depending on, that's an insane amount that your body is using to digest food. If your body doesn't have to use that energy to digest food, what are you going to do with all that extra energy? Exercise, you probably only have to sleep for 4 hours a night because you are that much alive. It is not a feeling that I can, you have to do it at least once in your life, I've said this, just so that you can experience what being that fully human feels like, because it is like nothing you've ever felt before. It's incredible.
Yeah. And the amount of energy to digest a steak, let's say, to get the little bit of protein that's in a steak.
And it's not
is
even,
tremendous, and it's not even the right protein, and, it's, you know, everybody's always bent on this protein thing, you know, when you go plant-based, you're like, where do you get your protein? And it's really one of the most frustrating questions that somebody can ask me.
find another
Because
one.
we went over this many times, all protein comes from plants, right? And there's more protein in any of these cruciferous vegetables, and especially in these sprouts, than you could even find in a steak.
Eating a steak, your body has to deconstruct it and then bring it down to a molecular level before it can use the amino acids, which are the building blocks of protein. Like, think of a brick wall. A whole brick wall would be a protein. Each brick would be an amino acid. So it needs to break that steak down into that that molecular level in order to be able to assimilate it into your body. And that takes an insane amount of energy. I mean, think about how zapped you feel after Thanksgiving meal. So, okay. The University of Vienna did a study, and it was sprouts are the only things that can zap a sick, dead cell back to life, because it's like an AED, right? Same concept. One seed. This is like, this to me, it speaks to me so deeply, because this is the abundance of our God. This is the abundance of our God. One seed holds all the information that it needs in order to propagate more of itself exponentially. One sunflower seed has the ability within it to produce 3,000 more in one next sunflower, and then that sunflower then produces how many other seeds that can produce, like right there, we're already at 1 million sunflowars out of one seed. Like, that is real abundance.
Yeah. And to say that there's hunger in this world, it's just stupidity.
It is.
I mean, what do we do?
When you look at it from that perspective, you see how fallen we really are. Because this is the solution to world hunger. This is the solution to everything, because it takes no space at all to grow the most nutritiously dense food. These are sunflower sprouts. They need probably about another 4 days, because they get really big. So out of this tray of sunflower sprouts, how many more sunflowers, if I planted them in the ground, would come up? And then all of those seeds, if I took all of those seeds, like, it's absolutely insane. This, by the way, is a complete protein. It has all of your essential fatty acids that you need. It's a complete. They have all 9 essential fatty acids. All 9. They say you can't get that from a plant-based diet. Yes, you can. Yes, you can. Sunflower seeds are black. Everybody know that? They're not white like the ones that you buy at the gas station. Those are already shelled and roasted. Yeah, so I'll show you some pictures later. Okay, so do you get how exciting this is? Because it's so exciting. When you soak a seed, you ignite the dormant potential energy inside. So this seed, if it was, unsoaked, is just laying there and it's nothing. But the second that you introduce water and oxygen to it, it all of a sudden starts this magical, beautiful thing that grows a huge... We had sunflowers in our yard this year that were like 18 feet tall. I didn't even plant them. I don't know where they came from, birds from last year. They just sprouted up all over our garden. We're in trouble. We're going to be in a sunflower forest.
That's funny.
Oh, that's amazing.
We didn't plant any tomatoes, we didn't plant any sunflowers, they're everywhere, they're coming out of our steps. It's crazy.
The birds did it. So, you ignite this potential. And a sunflower seed is so in tune that it literally wakes up in the morning when the sun comes up and it moves its whole head with the sun. Like, it's alive. It's brilliant. It's brilliant. So when you eat that seed, you're assimilating all of that brilliance into yourself. Because that's what you are.
Because you are what you eat.
Exactly. Exactly. So not only are you getting the high density of nutrition, but you're also getting that bioelectricity. Half of your plate should be sprouts. You should be juicing, and half of your plate should be sprouts. Start slow, but do it. But do it. You're here, and like some of you have been here for a long time since the beginning. Like this is the meat of it. Like we talked about all the toxicity, we got rid of all of that stuff. Like this is what you want now for health. This is not a diet fad. This is not, it works with paleo, it works with keto, don't do keto. It works with plant-based, it works with whatever you're doing. Just assimilate this stuff in and watch what happens in your life. That's all I'm asking.
So you just eat them?
Just
Like-
eat them, yes.
Plain?
Put them on
So you would
salads.
eat that just like how you showed us, the sunflower seed?
Yeah, absolutely. You can make a salad out of that. You can mix it in with things like we do tacos, and I'll use that instead of lettuce. There are plenty of raw food sprout cookbooks I can bring if you want to go down that road. Yeah, I actually I'll
some more
post a bunch of
ideas.
stuff. Yeah, I'll post a bunch of stuff. We have a Facebook page. You have some stuff to catch up on. So yeah, we have a Facebook page. Now that we're getting into this, we can start. Thanks. I can start posting some more stuff on that and just some recipes and stuff like that. But yeah, I mean, instead of a salad, make it a sprout salad. There is a little bit of a transition because this is much different than a regular salad, but
I like to mix it in. I like to have.
Yeah, that's a good
Or
recipe.
like avocado toast.
That was awesome. Like I could so.
yeah, well, you got a recipe
Yeah,
now.
That was delicious.
Yeah.
You had the seaweed
Right?
salad? See? Yeah, good. Okay. All right. Oh, this, literally the first time I saw this, it made me cry. Because it's like, it's just so pretty. So where does all that come from? Like it's this little seed, and then out of it comes all of this life. That's like insane. It's insane.
Now, what is that that's growing?
It's a bean sprout. But just out of that little bean came all of that life. It's like, where was it stored in there that it's just brilliant? It's brilliant.
Now, with that, you would eat the roots also?
Yeah, you can eat everything. Get funky, see what you like. If you don't want dirt in your teeth, then don't.
The roots are first.
I will cut these. I'll cut them just straight across. So, what's actually going on in there? If you put a seed into like a test tube and seal it with some distilled water, if you measure the ingredients or the nutrients post-germination, all of a sudden, it's full of vitamins, minerals, proteins, enzymes, phytonutrients, oxygen, hormones. They all skyrocket. So you haven't even introduced it to soil yet, which we know is crucial for minerals and stuff like that for a mature plant. I'm just talking about a seed. So from the seed to a sprout, where does all that stuff come from?
Now, do you have to use distilled water?
No. I'm just proving a point. Super high levels of iron, zinc, calcium, magnesium, copper are all present within this germinated seed that, again, hasn't come from the soil. It comes from within the seed. But where do these minerals come from? It's something called biotransformation. Basically, they're like stem cells that don't know what they want to do yet. So when you give a seed water, you're igniting the molecules inside to basically behave like stem cells. Oh, I'm going to become iron. Oh, I'm going to become this. Oh, I'm going to become that. And then we're going to grow from nothing. Molecules inside the cell on a subatomic level create new molecules that then form the foundation for the plant. So then you could take that seed that's now a sprout and put it in the soil, and once it gets past that sprout phase, now it is using the soil to get the remainder of the minerals and the remainder of the water and the remainder of everything else that it needs, because now it needs it, because now it needs to grow in size exponentially. But this is why sprouts are so pure and so nutrient dense, is because they do this all by themselves without needing the soil. Is everybody getting it? Are you that excited?
I'm thinking this whole thing through.
Yeah, it's intense.
Yeah.
What? Yeah, what? Okay, so that's what a sprout looks like
Wow.
under the same type of photography.
Wow.
It's
Oh, wow.
glorious.
All right, I'm gonna get my sprouts going again tomorrow.
It's glorious. So these are long sprouts, sunflower, pea, shoots, buckwheat. Yeah, okay. These are 30 times more nutritious than the full plants that you'll find in the grocery store. Not that you're going to find sunflowers in the grocery store, but you get my point. They're a complete protein, sunflower sprouts, buckwheat sprouts, which I don't have here. These are microgreens. This is a mix. It's like arugula, broccoli, I can't even think right now. There's a bunch of different seeds in here. Alfalfa.
Alfalfa.
What?
Yeah, I was gonna say alfalfa.
There's a bunch of different seeds in here. You can get just a mix. A bag like this will cost you $10. You take 2 tablespoons out and you put it on some dirt and you water it, and that's it. That's what happens, and it'll grow, and then you just cut it. Or you can go to the store and buy $5
Yeah.
worth of sprouts,
Little tiny stuff.
little tiny stuff that they're, $4.99, or you can, for pennies. For penny. All of this food is for pennies.
It's super easy too.
Yeah.
It's
Now,
super,
what's the
super
difference
easy.
nutrition-wise
Yeah, that's
between like the microgreens and the sprouts? Like, is what makes the microgreens different than just sprouts?
Just because of the way that you're growing them. I can grow these seeds in here same way. This is this. I'm just growing them in here
So is
for
there
tails.
any difference?
Um, These, no, I'm just gonna say no. They would be equal. You're not
Just
eating
bigger
the
and
roots and
leafier.
stuff like that. And these are like, obviously you're eating these and these are still growing because they're sprouting when you grow them. You're cutting this, but when you cut that, you eat it.
Yeah.
And life force will stay around for about a half hour, depending on what you're talking about, before it starts to wilt. You see that, right? Like you see that. So, okay. These are pea shoots. This is what pea shoots look like when you buy them in the grocery store. One of your juices does call for this. If you don't want to buy them, I think this generally goes for $3.99. If you don't want to buy it, not a problem. I just wanted to introduce you to different things that you can do. Please feel free to substitute it with another green. That would be in the Hippocrates juice. So if you go to the Hippocrates Health Institute, the juice that's in there that's called the Hippocrates juice is what they serve their customers multiple times a day. Multiple times a day. Because of the life force. Because they're growing it and cutting it and juicing it right there.
But it's much healthier that way, right? Coming from the dirt versus buying it in like a bag.
Yes, absolutely. There's no life force in this.
No.
Okay.
Because it's been on the shelf for God knows how long.
What's the benefit of putting it in the glass mason jars?
Because you don't want to do things with plastic anyways.
Okay,
Because they're endocrine disruptors.
so, but in there it's not,
It's in dirt.
it's in dirt, okay.
The jars are just super easy.
Yeah,
Dirt.
you don't have to, you
need
don't have to,
sunshine.
You don't need sunshine, you don't need it. I mean,
Do
you
them right
can
on
put
your
this in your
countertop.
suitcase.
right on your countertop.
Aren't they supposed to
But
be
so
in
you
a
can
dark
take them
place?
out and eat them?
Just
When
not
they're
in direct-
germinating, yes, but you don't have to put them like in sunlight to
Like they
grow.
have the
No.
sleeves even over them.
Yes. I have never done that.
So you
Where
just
do you
take
get
them
your
out and eat them? You
What?
just take them out of the jar
Yes.
and eat them?
Yes.
So
yes.
they will get like. the
They will
others?
not get like these. These are long sprouts, so
Okay.
this is what these are gonna look like. Because there's 3 different types of sprouts. So there's these. This is wheatgrass. You would cut this and juice this. I was telling when we did our juicing lecture last time, this whole tray will make 1 shot glass.
Yeah, I found that out.
It's insane, the yields,
I was like,
but
oh,
it is
great.
insane the benefits that come out of wheatgrass. Again, we'll talk about it later.
But
You
don't
just
you
cut
need
it
a
with a knife.
wheatgrass
But you need a
juicer?
wheatgrass juicer, or some of the omegas or some of the higher end masticating juicers can handle wheatgrass, but it's a very, again, it's why cows have to go what they have to go through in order to digest it. So this is what pea shoots look like in a tray. This is what they look like from the grocery store. This is alfalfa sprouts. Again, I wish I had done this a couple of days earlier, but even since we got here, they're getting longer. This morning, they didn't have tails on them at all. You can literally make a time-lapse video and just watch life grow on your
So do you put
countertop.
water in there
Kids
too?
love this stuff. Yes, you take about 2 tablespoons, put the seeds in here, soak them for about 8 hours.
Overnight.
I don't even
Overnight.
measure. And then fill the jar like halfway till they're covered. And so-
You can't do that with some stuff because like lentils, they'll suck in all of the water, so you need,
Oh, okay.
a significant
I haven't
amount of
done
water.
lentils.
But these, like the little seeds, yeah, you don't need much. So you dump it out. It's easier to do it at night. Fill it up with water, fill it up with seeds right before you go to bed. Drain it in the morning. And then for 2-3 days, there's sprouting protocols based on what seeds. You can easily get a chart to navigate you through it. You rinse them twice a day for like the first 2 or 3 days. And that's it. And you soak them, you leave them upside down so they drain. There's many different varieties of these types of things. Some of them come with stands, which are actually better. These I like better because they're just more
They're
convenient and I
easier.
can put 4 on a plate and just
So-
leave it.
You can't use the regular covers?
No.
No.
It's gotta be air.
Because it
Okay.
has
And like-
mesh.
Yeah, there's,
drain.
so there's,
Okay.
oh, sorry, I should pass this around. Yeah, there's mesh. See, there's
And
some
you
of
can
them
get
growing
metal
through.
ones, you can get ones that are metal too if you don't want the plastic ones.
Yeah, the metal ones, and then they have a stand, so you rest it in a 45-degree angle. That's actually the best for them, but, because this covers the holes.
Yes.
These are bean sprouts. Adzuki bean, pea sprouts, like the peas, because they're peas. Like, when you eat a pea, you can plant it and grow a pea plant, right? You can grow them like this, so that they actually just look like sprouts like this, or you can plant them in soil, and then they grow into pea shoots.
Where did you get the peas and lentils from? Like,
I bought these in the store. These were from Big Y today.
okay, but the ones you planted,
These, online. Everything's on Amazon.
just on.
I will post everything later today. Anybody want to try some? We can eat them. Has anybody had any?
The soil, I mean, you
Feel
could
free. Here, let
use,
me
you
just
could
do a
use
little-
like coconut husk. You could use like just a
I
medium like
used
that.
an organic seed starting thing.
Just make
That's
sure it's
it.
organic.
Yeah, please, just make sure it's organic.
Um,
Just take some in your hand and then pass it around.
Okay.
When did I plant this? I plant this,
That's like 3-4 days.
yeah. So this is how much soil I have put in there. See, not much. But like, look at how cool that is. It's like a carpet.
I've even done
And then I just compost
my
that. I cut it, I
microgreens.
just throw it
I
in
have like a nice
compost bin.
decorative shallow bowl
Great
on
for
my
composting.
on my windowsill,
Mhm.
and I'll just do microgreens in there, and it doesn't drain, I just don't overwater it.
Right.
So
yeah.
like, you don't even need those containers, like even if you just have like a shallow dish, and you can put some dirt in, and you don't
Yes.
have a
You
lot
could
of
do it in
room,
a
you could do it in a
unbleached
wall.
paper towel, you could do it in a
Yeah.
cheesecloth, they make bags, they make sprouting bags.
Yeah,
Yeah, like
terracotta
the bottoms, like
planter.
terracotta
Right.
pot are great, you know.
Right.
It's,
So-
it's super easy. Sprouts want to sprout. They want to sprout. You keep them, water and keep them in a dark place, and it's like foolproof. It's just like so easy.
Your Chinese sprouts, they're from mung beans. They're just grown, they're sprouted under pressure. So they shoot like this.
Wait, what kind of sprouts are those called?
These are mung bean sprouts. You get them like at a Chinese restaurant when you order Chinese food.
Right,
or
no, I've seen it, but like to purchase them.
mung bean sprouts.
among-
They're a little bit more complicated to sprout just because they do need to be under pressure. I have never even done it because these are so readily available.
Oh.
And these are very inexpensive. I think it's like $2 or $3 for a big bag of them. So like, just do that. That's
What do you
okay.
mean under pressure?
They have to grow, you have to have weights on them so that they grow like violently like that because they're trying to bust through soil to get to sunlight. You're mimicking that.
Okay.
Okay, so. There, look under leafy sprouts. Broccoli, clover, alfalfa, beet, cabbage, onion, and fenugreek. There's that word again. Okay, super high in phytonutrients, which I'm just going to talk about sulforaphane again because it's brilliant. This is the chemo-fighting phytochemical that is present in broccoli sprouts, a lot of other cruciferous sprouts as well.
Really?
But this is specifically specifically why broccoli sprouts are slightly more expensive than all the other sprouts is because Johns Hopkins actually held a patent for almost a decade on broccoli sprouts because sulforaphane is 300 times more potent in killing cancer cells. They are that anti-cancer than chemotherapy.
Wow. Broccoli spread?
Broccoli sprouts.
Without the side effects.
Yeah.
Okay. UCLA did a study. They took spinach from the 1950s and then they compared it to spinach from 1998 and found that we would need to eat about 40 bowls in order to get the same level of iron.
I believe that.
Minerals in grown plants come from the soil, right? Because when they come in sprouts, they come from God. In full-grown plants, they come from the soil. Because of soil erosion, the way that we do agriculture, the way that we do everything on Earth, we have little to no minerals left in our soil whatsoever. We used to have feet and feet and feet and feet and feet of topsoil. Again, God's abundance, He took care of us, but now we have like 2 inches across the whole entire United States left, and by seconds, how much is getting washed in the Mississippi River every second? It's astronomical. We lose so much topsoil, and that is where your nutrition comes from when you're buying these plants in the grocery store.
That's why we all have to compost to create some.
And do our own gardens.
Or regenerative agriculture,
Yeah.
where
Right.
we
tried that in our
just
town.
use all
Yeah.
organic.
We're in support.
So minerals are crucial for our body's electrical system. It is what the electricity fires over. It's like they're like jumping blocks for electricity. Like it needs the electrical charge. That's why you see the Fe, that stands for iron, the plus, is an ionic formulation of iron that your body needs. That is what it needs in order to be able to utilize it properly. These minerals must hold an electrostatic charge for the electricity to be able to run through them. I thought this was a brilliant analogy. You take a steel beam, any steel beam you want, grind it down into iron and put it in a capsule and eat it. Swallow it. Your body's going to be like, what is this junk? And not know what to do with it. But you can take, it's dead and inorganic, right? But you can take that same capsule and put it in the ocean, or you can sprinkle it in your garden, and the plants know what to do with it. They take that inorganic iron, and they bring it inside of themselves, and they recharge it and make it bioavailable for human consumption. This is why getting minerals from supplements that are not consciously awake companies it's just a waste of money, because it's not what your body needs
need
in
the
order
whole
to
food
assimilate
base.
it. Right, you need a heart-centered company who's ethical.
So I listened to an interview this past week with Dr. Glidden, somebody that I've been following, and he made a crucial point about mineralization, and the example he used, you might find interesting, was like with cattle ranchers, they mineralize the cattle food source while they're growing them, because when they are properly mineralized, they don't want them to eat them out of house and home, right? So when they're properly mineralized, they will only eat till they're satiated, and then they'll stop eating. And then, before they, would put them to the slaughter, right, then they'll start fattening them up, they'll remove the minerals from the food.
Oh, and then make them
Right.
naturally want to eat more to
Right,
get
so
more.
when our bodies are properly mineralized, you're
Oh,
less
yeah.
likely to overeat.
If I put a plate of fried potatoes in front of you, you're going to eat the whole entire thing. But if I put a plate of sprouts in front of you, you're going to eat them until your body's like, no, I'm good.
Yeah.
Because it's divine intelligence, and that is what you are.
Amen.
And we talked about it, we talked about it last week and a lot throughout the class about how in our society, like, people are overfed and undernourished, right? Their bodies are starving on a cellular level because the food that you're eating doesn't have any nutrients at all, sometimes like nothing. Like
They're
Hence McDonald's.
yeah, so you go to
They
McDonald's,
rob
so you're gonna
your
eat,
body's
your body's
looking for
telling
that,
you,
right?
we're still starving, our cells are still starving.
Keep
You didn't
eating,
give us
keep
the
eating.
nutrients, you didn't give us the minerals, so.
So that's why there's so
So
much
same idea,
obesity.
awesome,
Yep,
awesome.
yep, absolutely.
Right. You have an obesity epidemic, but they're all malnourished. Okay. Sea vegetables. They are the mineral mother lode. We now know that why minerals are so important. This is where you get your minerals from in super dense concentration. So dulse, kelp, nori, wakame, arame, these are all very popular seaweeds. You can get a lot of them, online. They are high in iron, calcium, and iodine.
The bags?
No, yeah, you can, yeah, that would be great. Iodine is super, everybody is iodine deficient, and no, you don't get it from iodized table salt, they lied. Iodine is super important in protecting your body, but your thyroid from radiation. It transforms dead inorganic minerals. Sea vegetables transform dead inorganic minerals, like we talked about with the steel beam, into organic ones. I bought these 3 bags plus another one. I mean, like, so this one's like pretty much gone already. So is this one. C vitamin. They are sourced from Maine. I will put all of the places where I buy all of this stuff on our Facebook page as well. But I think these 3 bags plus another bag like this ran me about $70.
Okay.
But like you're getting
You get
an
a lot.
insane amount.
Because you don't need a lot.
This isn't it. No, you don't. You take it out, you soak it in some water, and they rehydrate. You rinse it, drain that, and then make whatever dressing or whatever you want to make.
Is that what's that?
That is what is that. Yes, all 3 of these seaweeds are in there. Yep. Freshwater algae. Who's heard of this stuff? Spirulina? I know some of you have. Yeah, right. Okay, good. Spirulina, chlorella, blue-green algae. This is the highest protein content on the planet. Spirulina is about 65 to 70% protein. Lentils are about 26, and beef is 22.
Wow.
So, where do you get your protein? I get my protein from a lake out in Oregon with some algae in it, and that's where I get it from. This specific algae,
I was gonna say it's the right type of protein too.
right,
It's
right,
not acidic.
right.
Is that different than the E3?
That is E3 Live.
Oh,
Did you look at that too? This is bioavailable for you. Your body doesn't have to break anything down in order to use minuscule pieces of it. It's golden. It goes right into
Oh,
your
and that
body.
you have to keep cold?
You have to keep
Frozen.
this one
Oh,
frozen.
Oh,
So
frozen, okay.
this is called Brain On. It's by a company, E3 Live. This comes from a lake, Lake Klamath, out in Oregon. It is at the base of a volcano. So all of the minerals from the volcano, because we know that they're super mineral rich, right? Are in this lake, and it creates this crazy type of algae. This company harvests it. It is the only company that does so. You can buy this bottle for about $32 in Whole Foods. There is a $39 version that has something else in it. Sure, go ahead, it doesn't matter. At least get this.
And that's the, what flavor?
Oh, please, get the apple and lemon flavor, or else you will be tasting algae, and it tastes exactly how you think it tastes. I will let you guys try this, though, if whoever wants. I know I've brought it in already once before, and some of you have.
Now,
Feel free to try it again.
What
So algae contains all 9 essential amino acids, proteins, building blocks for protein. It contains the amino acids. So ready for cell repair, rebuilding tissue, and hormone production. Hormones are your chemical messengers throughout your body. They are crucial for everything. There's up to 65 different minerals and vitamins in the blue-green algae.
that's crazy.
Wow.
Algae is a single cell organism that doesn't know if it wants to be a plant or an animal. So again, we're talking about a similar thing to stem cells.
Really?
It's similar in the potency and potential for life. It is at the very bottom of the food chain. You cannot get any lower than algae. This is why it is extremely easy for your body to assimilate, because it was, made for that. Okay, chlorella is a form of spirulina. Spirulina is a green algae. A blue-green algae is that stuff. Have fun pronouncing that word. AFA is what it's known as for short. Algae are capable of reprogramming your DNA. They are very helpful for people that have MS, Alzheimer's, multiple sclerosis, things like that.
Wow.
Okay,
Sounds good.
that was a lot, but you see why it's like beautiful? This is why I was like, oh, yeah, God and food, that's so cool. Like, this is so cool.